Problem is I'm in shadow right now.
Take it from the other side? Or take it later? Beautiful skid steer in the way.
Hi, welcome to Matt's Garage.
It's been a long time since our last episode, but as you can see, we've come a long way. The outside's been painted, the interior's been painted, and now we're actually starting on the first of our finishes, which would be the cabinets.
Yeah, it's big
Milestone.
Big milestone, thank you. You see the garage doors are in, they're working, sort of a modern style. The front door we have ordered sort of matches that. It's going to be in walnut, and then we're going to stain the pine underneath all this, the patio and the entrance. Electrical is connected, gas is connected, fiber is connected, so we have internet now. So now it's just a matter of finishing the inside.
Let's go inside.
You want to go inside?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go inside.
Before we go inside, we thought it might be a good idea to talk about the exterior a little bit.
Yep.
And how we came up with this choice of exterior.
Yep.
So as you can see, we've got three color tones. We've got a light color, we've got an accent color there over this on the stair tower, and then we have a dark trim color.
So we wanted to go with a modern palette, which is what this is. We covered the patio columns with the same hardy board material. We went with a super wide hardy board because the house is kind of tall, so it kind of gives a false perspective, and I think is a little more of a modern look.
And it's a smooth panel,
right,
too.
It's not the
standard cedar
milled or whatever.
Finish. We went with the smooth wide board.
And we painted a bunch of scrap samples here and held them up next to the windows and tried to figure out what we liked. Some of the grays had too much green, some of the grays had too much magenta, so like we were trying to find a real neutral gray palette to do, which also carries forward into the interior.
Another thing that we struggled with a little bit was whether to put a trim around the windows, and then how thick it should be, and then what color it should be. Should it match the siding, or should it be more of kind of like a, eyeliner around the windows? In the end, we decided to go with the darkest of our colors around the trim for the window and door trim.
Yeah, we did two windows on that side with no trim. We didn't like the way that looked. We left those because that's like the north side. It's the ugly side.
There's no ugly side to our house.
But then the rest of it we did in a very thin trim. Normally people do 4-inch like this, but all the windows have a 3-inch, so it's a super sleek look all the way around the house. All right, let's go inside for real. When you walk in, you got the sort of the formal dining on the right and the living room, which has that view to the outside, and then the nook and the kitchen.
Too fast.
Well, first I just wanted to pan over and show them the stairs finished. So that's kind of the look we were going for. You can see it's a really cool, very modern look. Lots of light comes through. Still don't have the finished treads on, but it gives you a better picture of how the stairs will look finished. And then you can see that the walls are very smooth. And we're going to talk about that in a second.
So the kitchen, so as you can see, our cabinets are starting to go in. We decided to go with Belmont cabinets. Great, and so far we're super happy with it, both our designer and the product so far.
Style and Rail was the design.
Style and Rail design firm. We went with a darker look for the kitchen because we have a fair amount of light coming in, so we thought we could, in some smaller enclosed spaces you might not want to go with a dark kitchen color. We decided we could get away with that here.
Yeah.
It's a little bit rustic looking, but overall it's the style of the cabinets themselves. It's frameless.
Yeah, they call it the Vero one, but basically they'll have black aluminized rails here where you grab, So it's like this black and brown sort of old meets new theme, I guess.
Which we'll show at the end.
Yeah, of
to see
course.
the finished
Yeah.
product. But as you can see, we are going to have an L-shaped kitchen, pretty tall cabinets, but not all the way to the ceiling because we have 10-foot ceilings. But it's coming together, so we'll
It is.
see the
And
finished
these
product.
are going to be like the bifold, not doors, but bifold up. So that I kind of like that because I'm a non-door closer, as I'm known, and so that I can leave those up while I do my cooking and then just close everything when I'm done, as opposed to doors sort of hanging out in your face. These fold up and overhead.
It'll be interesting to see how we actually move around and use the kitchen when it's all said and done.
Right.
But it's definitely coming together, and I'm looking forward to seeing the final product.
So yeah, the range goes over here. You're gonna have a fridge stack right here, and then cabinets. Big sink right here so you can look out the window when you're washing dishes.
Well, maybe before we continue, we should talk about how we got here.
Yeah.
A lot has happened in the last, I don't know, month or so. Drywall finishing and painting is one of the, the biggest milestones that has been completed. So normally your drywall finish will be kind of an orange peel. So you see just a tiny, slight little bit of texture. Some people do more texture, some people do less. But with this, we decided to move away from that and actually do what we call a level 5 finish.
Right, which is smooth. And they basically achieve that by, instead of just mudding the joints and then blending them and then shooting the texture, they mud the joints, blend them, then come in and skim coat over every wall and then sand.
So what you end up with is a pretty smooth finish, and you really don't see any texture at all.
Right, yes, totally smooth walls. Acoustically it's a little rougher, but that'll tamp down once we get our carpet. So we actually had to do it like 3 times because we would walk around with a flashlight, not the iPhone flashlight, but just any sort of powerful flashlight, and hold it up to the wall, and that really shoots any imperfections out, right? And we really weren't happy with the quality the first time, so we had to do a full second skim coat, and then Nandita and I came here on a Sunday before paint and just sanded all the walls that were like high visibility walls to make sure they were like perfectly smooth.
Because one of the downsides of doing that level 5 finish is that it really shows the imperfections when light is shown upon it. So
That's right.
especially Matt and I focused on the walls that, especially downstairs where there's a lot of light coming in and it's kind of the first thing you see, big walls with, all the imperfections. So we focused on those walls, but the finished product is pretty cool because it's something you just don't normally see. And I know for me, I think I take it for granted. Like I think 90% of the houses that I've lived in, 90% of the houses that I've lived in, and most of the ones I go to are, don't have some sort of texture on the wall because it's so much more standard.
Yeah, in America. Yeah. But like in Guatemala and India, it's standard to have smooth because
that's true.
Labor's cheap. So
yeah. So it's pretty cool.
It's cool, so in order for them to do the drywall, I had to get the heater working. So you gotta get the HVAC, you gotta get the gas connected so the heater works.
Right.
So that was like a big thing.
Something we hadn't planned for.
Right.
We didn't know that.
Right. And then in the middle of that, I had to switch over to permanent power. So got rid of the temp pole. I have a meter for sale if anybody's interested. And then we got the paint and then got the cabinets in. So.
Right. Painting actually surprisingly took only 1 day. It
Half
was
a day.
so fast.
Half a day. They got there at noon and we're done by like 6.
Yeah, we had to push them back a number of times,
yeah.
Unfortunately, but they were super fast and it was amazing.
Yeah. So once these cabinets are hung, the next step will be floors and tile and trim. So that's kind of where we're at with the process. I know it didn't sound like we did a lot of work, but I was here pretty much every day at some point. Not all day because I actually work, but I would clean the floors, I would make sure things were taped off properly so I didn't have to clean them, close the windows, make sure the heater's on at night because these guys are like, you need to have heat in order to do mud. So the mudders get here and the first thing they do is turn the heater off because it's too hot.
And they open the windows.
Yeah.
So then we have to come back now.
Turn the heater on and make sure everything cooks and the building doesn't shrink and grow. It's just a constant.
It's kind of crazy. Some of the other things we didn't talk about that we did do after the garages. Finally, we got the garage doors, and then we got the garages painted before the house got painted. But we also have a container that you've seen some episodes about, and we moved all our stuff from the container into the garage, which is a huge kind of
Yeah, it was kind of a big
milestone
effort
in
because I
itself.
had, you know, my workbench and all that stuff. I wanted to show you a shot of the container outside, actually, kind of see it. So it's down there. Basically, I've dragged it 20 feet from where it was, and then I sold it. So somebody's going to come over with a flatbed and a winch and just sort of pull it out to the front yard, which is that way, and then put it on a trailer. Oh, and then down there is the disaster of my former backyard, which is where the septic is going in.
It's hard to believe. Just a few days ago, this garage was filled with cabinets.
Yeah, back to front, totally. These
Yeah.
are the boxes, there's bags full of plastic. So, yeah.
Well, hopefully you'll show a couple of pictures, but it was a great setup for a laser tag.
Yeah, yeah.
Unfortunately, the kids didn't get a chance to do it. They should have, though.
Yeah, so we got the cabinets in here, we put the appliances in the other garage, and those are ready to be installed. One of the things we've been doing is hounding our suppliers to get all our material here. One, there's a huge amount of escalation right now. Costs are going up. There's material shortages all over the country. There's appliance shortages.
Yeah.
We don't want that delaying the project, so we're just like, send everything to us now.
Luckily, we have pretty big spaces to hold that, which
Yeah.
is unusual,
Right.
but we figure we should try to take advantage of it. So next we're trying to get all our sinks and toilets and all our plumbing fixtures delivered so they're ready to go, because before we know it, the tile's going to be done and
Then
cabinets
we're
will
ready
be
to
in. And
template and do all that. Template the countertops for cutting the sinkholes out. You need the sinks here to do that.
yeah.
So yeah, here's Matt's garage. Can't wait. I'm so all my tools are in here already. Like, I'm just ready to go. Ready to go.
Yeah, seeing the cabinets in the house really make it kind of come home. Like, you really start to see, oh, it's starting to come together the way we imagined it, because you can finally see what it's going to look like, the finished product.
Yeah, but we
So-
got a long way to go.
Not a long way, just a hard way.
Long way.
Hopefully it's not too long.
Yeah. All right. See you next time, Matt's garage.